Oh, hi. It's been a while, hasn't it? You may be wondering, who the is this guy and what is the drive doing back in my feed after vanishing from YouTube for years? What happened? It's a long story. I'm Kyle Tromka, editor-in-chief of TheDrive.com. You know, the website with the stories that you read. No, it's okay. I'm here to tell you that The Drive is coming back to YouTube. We're back, running it back. One of the original car channels is here again with the same mission to celebrate the culture of cars and take you places you've never been. It's wild, honestly, and our first new video drops tomorrow. So before we go any further, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on those notifications, and get ready. But before I tell you what we're up to now, I don't see how you're gonna take any of this seriously if we don't address what happened with the channel. Like you, I was a viewer from the beginning, completely enraptured as Spinelli and Harris, Farah and Musto and JF and Leo and Alex and all these guys making just the coolest car videos I'd ever seen on the internet. All with this passion that was just missing from everywhere else. And then like you, I watched it all just kind of fade away. Also, why did we change our name from Drive to The Drive? Well, the answer is messy. Actually, it's a little too complicated to wrap up in a video like this. So here's what we're doing. I'm gonna give you the Cliff Notes version now, and then we've got an article with the full story, all the gory details linked in the video description below. So make sure to check that out too. So you can break down our channel's history into three parts. You've got our golden era, from our launch in 2012 as an independent outfit to our eventual sale to Time Inc. Remember those guys in 2015? Then you've got the decline, the great strangulation, our adventure in corporate media, the we gotta make some money period. Whatever you wanna call it, that lasted from 2016 to about 2019. And then from 2020 to today, the big sleep. But back to our golden era for a second. What I think a lot of people don't know is that The Drive wouldn't exist without YouTube. And I don't mean that because YouTube was our platform. I mean that because YouTube literally funded the launch of this channel. Back then, YouTube wasn't the platform it is today. They were desperate for original content, and they were throwing millions of dollars at creators with a vision to make it happen. Our founder and executive producer, JF Musial, was one of those guys. Right place, right time, right connections, right skills to make the kind of car videos he always wanted to see. And he did, with a group of incredible hosts, and I mean truly, once-in-a-generation talent. Drive Network, as it was called then, grew into an absolute force. Shows like After Drive and Tuned and Big Muscle and Chris Harris on Cars hooked millions of viewers. It was an incredible run. But like all runs, it came to an end. It was a perfect storm, really. So 2015, the YouTube money's drying up. We pissed a lot of people off with an early paid subscription attempt that did not land at all. And on top of that, things were getting, shall we say, chaotic with a former business partner of ours named Emil Rensing. Emil was a media executive. He was a part owner in the channel, and he was instrumental in landing that first deal with YouTube. Turns out he was also embezzling millions of dollars from his day job at the same time, and ended up going to prison for that shortly thereafter. But that's a much, much, much longer story. What matters for us is that things were getting messy, and at that point, JF and the group decided to explore a sale. Eventually, we ended up at Time Inc., who had no clue what they had just bought, honestly. I mean, they had this half-baked scheme to turn the brand into a digital car magazine and pretty much zero interest in YouTube. So we launched TheDrive.com, made that the whole brand. We managed to produce one more year of that delicious old school Drive content, and then it all just kind of came to an end. Spinelli and a small video team did the best they could to keep it going. Time Inc. gave us absolutely no support whatsoever, and that was kind of that. Then in 2018, Time Inc. itself was bought out by another publishing giant, and they too had no interest in YouTube, or cars for that matter. So 9 months later, they turned around and sold us to a group of private investors. Finally, after all that time, we were independent again. We were ready to control our own destiny. We had these grand plans to relaunch the channel at the beginning of 2020 with a big splash and dive right back in, picked up where we left off. And then everything in the world went sideways. So that brings us to today. Now, the Drive's original ethos was to celebrate the culture of cars, take you as an enthusiast to places you've never been. But today, in 2024, it feels less and less like car culture is defined by new cars in the automotive industry. I mean, cars today are so different than what they were even a decade ago. It feels like car culture is way more about the enthusiasts on the ground making it happen. Take this beautiful 1988 Mercedes SL behind me. Now, the 2024 SL, sure, it's a cool car, it's really powerful, it's got lots of tech, but it's not this. This hits different. This you feel a connection with in a way that you just don't with new cars. And that's really what we're going to be leaning into with the channel now. That's the thinking behind our first video series we're calling Charisma. Profiling an enthusiast in their car, exploring the connection between person and machine, and the passion that introduces.
Well, I think I'm a richer 17-year-old. We're doing the same things we were doing when we were teenagers. We're just doing it with nicer and bigger toys.
I watched that guy turn that piece of chassis into something amazing with his own hands. I think that's cool. I think that's really exciting, and I want to be like that.
I find my car to be an extension of myself, and it's just a way to make that possible.
The car world is tribal, right? We all have our people, we all have the things we like. But what we really want to show is that set aside the wildly different backgrounds, the different tastes, the different approaches, we're all the same obsessive fools underneath it all. We all love the same things about our cars. There is a common thread there that just gets lost today. We really want to dive into that. So we're also going to be bringing you a series exploring some of the coolest, craziest, most interesting, weirdest, just out and out fascinating stories from the past and present of cars and transportation. Things like that time GM screwed Saddam Hussein by selling him a bunch of terrible Chevy Malibus. Or the time an F1 team put a $250,000 diamond on the nose of a car in the Monaco Grand Prix and then lost it in a crash. Or the time the US came close, and I mean closer than you can imagine, to building a new Route 66 through the American West with a bunch of nuclear bombs. At the end of the day, it's gonna be about how much we all love cars, just like it's always been. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna be publishing a video a week from here on out, and I really hope you'll give us a chance to be that conduit for your passions again. That's enough of me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.